All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're stepping way back in time. We are diving headfirst into a raw, completely unfiltered piece of wartime writing from, get this, over 100 years ago. And you know what? We're going to see what a document that old can teach us about the stories we're still being told today.
And this is really the perfect place to start. It's so true, right? Everything that happens has a story behind it. But what happens when that story, that backstory, isn't just a simple list of facts? What if it's a carefully crafted narrative, one that's specifically designed to make you feel a certain way?
Yeah, and that right there, that gets to the absolute heart of what we're digging into today. The document we're about to look at is, well, it's a masterclass in the difference between what actually happened and the story someone wanted to tell about it. And believe me, that distinction, it's everything.
So let's set the scene. Our journey begins smack in the middle of World War I. But we're not talking about the trenches in France. We're in a theater of war that a lot of people have kind of forgotten about, Mesopotamia. Think modern-day Iraq. This was a brutal, gritty fight in the desert between the British and the Ottoman empires.
And we're zeroing in on a very specific moment, April 1916. What's so crucial to understand is that what we're about to read, it's not some history book written decades later with the benefit of hindsight. No way. This is a dispatch from the ground. It's a raw, unfiltered perspective from someone who is right there in the thick of it all.
Okay, so the document kicks off by introducing us to the local Arab forces. The author calls them an irregular arm fighting for the Turks. But what's really fascinating here is the language he uses. Check it out. Hovering, following like shadows. It's not just descriptive, is it? It's meant to frame them as this ominous, almost ghost-like presence, just waiting for a chance to strike.
Then the author walks us through what an attack looks like, and the details are pretty revealing. This isn't some organized battle, not at all. It's painted as this swift, predatory ambush. A wagon gets left behind, and bam, they're on it. And listen to those words. They descend instantly. The horde closes in. I mean, come on, that's not neutral language, is it? It's chosen specifically to paint a picture of absolute chaos and savagery.
All right, now we're getting to the real core of the narrative. This is where the author builds this incredibly powerful and, frankly, deeply disturbing image. And he does it with a huge, glaring contradiction.
Just look at how he sets this up. It's brilliant in a way. On one side, he talks about how they look. He describes them as venerable figures, having picturesque dignity, even the face of Abraham. Sounds pretty noble, right? But then, he describes their actions, and suddenly they're plunderers who murder for pillage. You see that? This contrast is so deliberate. It's a setup, and it's leading to something pretty shocking. And here it is. This is the line. Their faces are the face of Abraham, but their ways are the ways of the hyena. Wow. That one sentence is the gut punch of this whole piece. It's such a powerful and, let's be honest, a totally dehumanizing metaphor. All that stuff about picturesque dignity he just built up, poof, gone. It's completely erased and replaced by the image of a scavenging hyena. And to really hammer that metaphor home, the author lists all these specific, brutal actions. They kill their prey before they strip it, haunt battlefields, leave the dead stark, they even dig up graves. Now look, whether these are 100% objective facts or just wartime exaggerations, we can't know for sure from this text alone. But their purpose in this narrative is crystal clear. It's all there to reinforce that hyena image, to paint these people as something less than human.
But then, just when you think you have them pegged, the author throws in a curveball. A little contradiction. He notes that the wounded are sometimes spared, but, and this is a big but, only if a Turkish officer or an influential sheikh is present. That kind of complicates the simple savage picture, doesn't it? So what is it? A flicker of humanity? Or is it just proof that, in the author's view, they need to be kept on a leash? He just leaves that hanging there.
Okay, so the document shifts gears a little bit here. It's not just about the Arab forces anymore, but about their relationship with their supposed allies, the Ottoman Turks.
And this one quote really sums up the whole relationship, at least from the author's point of view. Nominally, they are fighting for the Turk, but they are the most uncomfortable allies. That word, nominally, it means in name only. That's the key to the whole thing. It tells you right away that this alliance is seen as just a temporary convenience, not some deep bond of loyalty.
And this is the breakdown of why that alliance is so uncomfortable. The author claims their Islamic sympathies are just skin deep. Their real motivation, he says, loot, pure and simple. He alleges they'll turn on anyone to get it, even their friends, their allies. So it paints this picture of a completely cynical relationship. The Turks use them, sure, they're a useful weapon, but they do not trust them one bit.
Okay, so let's take a step back. We've looked at the claims, we've seen the contradictions, we've felt that really powerful language. What does it all add up to? What does this all really mean?
We have to come back to this idea: facts don't expire, narratives do, because this is truly the most important takeaway here. Look, the fact is, there were irregular forces fighting in Mesopotamia in 1916. That's a historical fact. It doesn't expire. But the story about them, the story of them as human hyenas, well, that's a narrative.
And ultimately, that's what this document is. It's not a neutral, objective history lesson. It's a snapshot. It's one person's specific, biased, and you can feel it, highly emotional perspective from the middle of a brutal war. This thing was designed to do a job, to shape opinions, to dehumanize an enemy, and to tell a very particular story that served a very particular purpose at that exact moment in time.
And so, all of this leaves us with one last really critical question to think about. Because when we look back at the past, we are almost always looking through the lens of a narrative just like this one. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, who gets to write the story? And maybe more importantly, whose story is the one that ultimately gets to be called history?